Right now, there is a financial crisis that is happening in our country, and you need to know about it now, because the longer you wait, the more it becomes too late to do something about it. The retirement savings in the US is facing a $1.3 trillion shortfall, which causes some to think that the government is going to be on the hook to save us. Look, I don't know about you, but I think standing up on the table and doing a trust fall into the government's arms with your retirement could turn out to be pretty painful. But let's come back to that. Do you really think you'll ever be able to afford retirement? The hard truth is that Americans are facing a retirement nightmare, and it's only going to get worse. For example, did you know that only 75% of Americans even have some kind of retirement savings? And this is based on recent data from the Federal Reserve. Here's what's even scarier. Of that 75%, only 40% of them believe their retirement savings will be enough. So when we dive into the numbers in a second, you're about to see how bad it really is. Now, I felt compelled to talk about this because it's a major problem. Even though you may be a good 20 or 30 years away from retirement and you probably don't think about it much, the years are going to pass by either way. One day you'll wake up either with the money in the bank to make sure that you and your family are set or not. But what makes me qualified to talk about this topic? Well, if we haven't met yet, my name is Tarek Johnson. I spent almost 10 years in corporate America before going on to own multiple franchise locations and then becoming an entrepreneur with multiple businesses and producing millions of dollars of revenue in my businesses. Most importantly, I'm a husband and a father, and creating true generational wealth is really important to me. And I'm not talking about the buzzword that people throw around that has no meaning or is just pure ego behind it. So if you're into creating wealth and entrepreneurial stuff, then I think we'll get along and you might want to subscribe because I want to help you make that happen. You know, before I ever started making YouTube videos and became an entrepreneur with multiple franchises across the country, my entire professional career was in financial services. I started getting my investment licenses at the ripe age of 19 years old, and that's when I got my Series 6 and Series 63 licenses. Nerdy stuff if you don't know what I'm talking about. I went on to spend the next 15 years getting more investment licenses, eventually becoming a financial advisor, having managed over $100 million in assets for my clients over the years. Now, I put together hundreds of financial plans and worked with thousands of clients, so I know intimately the pain and stress this conversation brings up. But look, people right now are getting crushed by inflation, skyrocketing real estate prices, and we're falling behind financially. So if you're waiting for Social Security one day and the government to come save us, you're going to be waiting a long time. Look, it's time for you to take charge of your financial success so you can take care of your family and build generational wealth. It definitely won't happen by accident. Now, building wealth is intentional. Here's the good news. It's not complicated. May not be easy, but it's actually pretty simple. So let's talk about the problem, and although it may make you angry at first, we'll talk about some solutions, and that way you can use that anger as fuel to do something about it. And being financially prepared for retirement ultimately comes down to understanding the truth about retirement. So what does retirement even mean? Now, I found there's two different camps. The first one is, hey, when I'm done working, I'm done working. That's it. You have enough money in your investments to pay for your expenses, and that's it. You hung up your hat. The other camp is, hey, I don't plan on ever really stopping working. I enjoy it. I may work less, but I'm not gonna just sit around. Now, the way I've always defined retirement is waking up having the option to work or not, but your lifestyle or finances isn't impacted whether you do or don't. When I met with clients, I used sophisticated financial planning software, plugged in all of the specifics of their financial situation and their goals to come up with a pretty reliable number on how much they needed to be able to retire and not end up checking receipts at Walmart. And look, I don't mean any disrespect about that, but I can't imagine it's something that most people want to do, but it's that they need to do it. So for simplicity's sake, let's take a look at simple ways of figuring out how much money you're going to need to retire one day. One rule of thumb is that you need about 15 times your annual income if you retire at age 65. So if you make 100 grand a year, retire at 65 years old, then you're gonna need about $1.5 million in order to retire comfortably. Now keep in mind, that's assuming you have your money invested and continuing to earn interest as you are taking the money out. Now, for most of us, thinking about what we need for retirement at age 65 is just really hard to conceive. At my current age of 35 years old, I'm so wrapped up in what's happening today and trying to keep up with our 18-month-old daughter and our 4-year-old son and be a good father and husband and make sure I remember to take out the trash and keep my business running afloat that I'm not really thinking about retirement often. And this is coming from a guy who did this stuff for a living. But then I see graphs like this one from Fidelity, and it wakes me up a little bit. So it shows the amount of your salary that you'll need at what age in retirement savings. So I'm 35, and according to Fidelity, I need to have at least 2 times whatever my income I need to pay myself in retirement. So if I plan to pay myself $100,000 a year in retirement, and quick side note, given inflation, I don't think that's really realistic. But that means today I should have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. So herein lies a huge problem. I looked at the median retirement balances by age. Median is just a number in the middle. Averages can be skewed by the really big numbers or the low numbers, so median represents the middle. But let's take a look at the median retirement saving balances in the United States. You can see that the median balance from age 35 to 44 is only $45,000. Now, when you look at the average, the story looks a lot different at $141,000, but again, averages are a little skewed by the folks that have a lot of money. So then by the time you're 45, which for me is only 10 years away, I need to have 4 times my salary stocked up for retirement. And the median balance from ages 45 to 54 is only $115,000. And here's what should scare you. Every day that you wait, the more you are trying to catch up from behind, and it becomes more difficult. Just look at this graph that shows what percentage of your income you need to save based on when you start stockpiling money for retirement. As a 35-year-old, if I was just starting to save for retirement today, I need to save and invest about 20% of my gross income. So if you're making 100 grand a year, you need to be saving 20 grand a year to be able to retire one day with enough money. Now, generally speaking, I'm a take responsibility for your life kind of guy, but truthfully, the cards are stacked against you. In the US, we're known to have a consumer-based economy. What that means is 70% of the economic output, aka GDP in the US, is based on you spending money. So advertisers and companies will literally bombard you and do whatever it takes to get you to spend your money instead of investing it to build wealth. And it's working. The other issue is people are getting crushed by inflation, and the gap between the rich and the poor is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Look, the middle class is starting to disappear, and baby boomers are still the most active home buyers. Millennials are struggling to afford homes, although they are about to pass up baby boomers in being the biggest buyers. Now just look at this graph of the pace of annual pay increases for the top 1% versus the bottom 90% since 1979. In addition to that, wages have increased by 138% for the top 1%, only 15% for the bottom 90%. Now those data points are a little tricky, so let's just go to the middle of the pack. Since 1979, middle class wages are only up 6%. And the low wage workers are down 5%, while high wages are up 41%. Now look, this isn't me pointing the fingers at people who have worked hard and built a successful career earning good money. I myself would be classified as a high wage earner probably over the last 10 years. I've worked incredibly hard to put myself in the position I am in today, and I've taken tremendous risks that would probably make most people sick to their stomach. Because on some days, it has. I've made sacrifices too and practiced delaying gratification to make smart financial decisions for the future. It's not easy, and although I think if you are spending more on your cars and vacations every year than you're contributing to your retirement, then that's a major problem, and that's on you. Not the government, not your employer, and not inflation. But look, pointing the finger at each other is not the solution. And at the end of the day, we may not be at fault, but we damn sure are responsible to take care of our families because no one is coming to save you. Since 1963, inflation has risen 896%, while housing prices have gone up 2,350%. Post-COVID inflation has made the cost of things more expensive than ever before. The cost of groceries is up by almost 20% since 2021, with the cost of eggs over 50%. Cost of new cars are up 20%, used cars up 10%, and since 2020, the average sales price of houses sold in the US have gone from $375,000 to over $500,000. And over that same period, median household income is actually down. Now, I promise you this video is not to make you feel totally miserable, but I do want to agitate you enough so you go do something about it. Because again, no one is coming to save you. With our government printing money like crazy and Social Security being underfunded, the retirement age got pushed back from age 65 to 67. It used to be that you could work for the same company for 20, 30, or 40 years and get a pension that paid you for life, but now they are a thing of the past as employers started shifting to 401k plans in the 1980s. And to play devil's advocate, committing to pay employees for the rest of their lives, I mean, that could be pretty expensive and unpredictable. Here's the big issue though, Social Security isn't a guarantee. In fact, by 2035, retirees will only receive a partial payout from Social Security. Some experts believe that Social Security won't even be around in 30 years. Now, Social Security might be a nice little backup plan, but you should not rely on Social Security to fund your retirement. So what's the solution to all of this? Well, there's no one-size-fits-all solution, but I've come up with a few solutions that are not rocket science and I think easy to implement. The first one is, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. So figure out a way to start prioritizing paying yourself first. Figure out a way to get on track with putting aside enough money every year to set yourself up for success. Whether that's investing in the stock market, bonds, real estate, whatever it is, you need to own assets, and lots of them. Now, I found the easiest way to do that requires almost no thought is figure out how much you need to save and invest every year and then just put the money in a low-cost, target-dated mutual fund. It's the modern day set it and forget it. The second solution is where I spend most of my time, and that's become an entrepreneur. Not only are there incredible tax benefits for entrepreneurs that could help you find that extra 10 or 20 grand you'll need to save every year, but as an entrepreneur, you can control your income, and the more you can ramp up your income, the easier it'll be to put more money aside. Plus, when you retire from your job, you can't sell your job back to your employer as an asset, but you can sell a business. You can run the business until you retire, then sell it for a nice chunk of change. Businesses often sell for around 3 times their profits. So if you have a business profiting 150 grand a year, when you're done, you can go out and sell it for around $500,000 in cash out. Or you can keep it in retirement and put a team in place so it becomes more passive, paying you throughout your retirement. And then you can pass it down to your kids to truly create generational wealth. Now, this does lead to another major problem though, is that traditional business can be risky, and I wouldn't blame you for safeguarding whatever retirement savings that you do have, which is why I like franchising so much. You can buy into a business model that is proven and hands you all the parts of a successful business on a silver platter. Now, to make things even sweeter, you could buy a resale franchise that is already making money. Someone already did the hard work and got it up and running, allowing you to comfortably add an additional stream of income to prepare for retirement. Or you can use that money to replace your salary and leave your corporate job altogether. There are a ton of options and a lot of flexibility when it comes to franchising. In this video, I walk you through the 6 different ways you can make money owning franchises, and this shows you exactly how franchises work, how you can make money with them, and the first steps to take to buy your own money-making franchise. If you want free access, just click the link below and you can get instant access to my profitable franchise buying masterclass. It's my gift to you.